You know, when we watch animals fight, it's easy to just see this spectacle, right? The teeth, the claws, the raw power. But there's so much more going on beneath the surface. There's a hidden strategy, a kind of playbook written over millions of years of evolution. And today, we're going to tear that playbook apart. We're going to deconstruct it to really understand how these animals survive the most brutal tests on Earth. So, let's dive in. All right, I want you to imagine something. You've just been born, literally seconds old. You're on this remote, sun-baked island, and your life is already on the line. I mean, for some creatures, the fight for survival starts with their very first breath. It's just unbelievable. So, for this baby iguana, its first glimpse of the world, it's a landscape just crawling with racer snakes. And for these predators, this is the big event. The annual iguana hatching is the best feeding opportunity they're gonna get all year. It's a literal gauntlet. The race is on the second it hatches. Okay, so the hatchling has one single rule it has to follow. You see, the snake's eyes aren't all that great. They're wired to detect movement. So the strategy is simple, but man, is it difficult. You have to keep your nerve. Stay perfectly, absolutely still, and you just might, become invisible to them. And then, in a sudden burst of speed, it's a mad dash for the safety of high ground. It's pure chaos. A lot of them don't make it, but this one does. It's this near miraculous escape that just perfectly sets the stage for everything we're talking about today. See? Survival isn't just about being strong. It's all about strategy. All right, so that brings us to our first major strategy in the playbook, cooperation. You know, sometimes the only way to beat impossible odds is to just not face them by yourself. It's all about the power of the pack. So just take a look at this matchup. On one side, you've got the cheetahs. Now, a single cheetah, it's built for speed, not power. There's no way it would ever try to take on an ostrich, a bird that's more than twice its weight and has a kick that can literally kill. But three brothers? Well, that changes the whole game. As a team, they can tackle prey that would be absolutely unthinkable for a lone hunter. But what happens when the numbers are stacked completely against you? Well, here we've got Red, a lone lion, who's made a huge mistake. He's blundered straight into a clan of over 20 hyenas. He's trapped. They're just wearing him down, bit by bit. The odds are, they're impossible. There's no way he can keep them all at bay for much longer. And then, a single arrival changes everything. His ally, Tatu, hears the chaos and comes running. Now, think about it. It's 2 lions versus 20 hyenas. And just like that, the odds have completely flipped. Because even for a massive hyena clan, taking on 2 fully grown male lions, that's just too big of a risk. The pack backs down. And this shows that group strategy isn't just about hunting, right? It's also a total masterclass in defense. When faced with a hungry polar bear, the walrus herd forms, well, it's like a living fortress. The adults make this super tight circle, shielding all the vulnerable young ones in the center. It's a wall of blubber, hide, and tusks. And it's a wall that even the world's largest land carnivore just can't get through. Okay, so we've seen the power of the pack, but it's not always about teamwork. On the flip side, some of nature's most effective survivors are the lone specialists. We're talking about animals that have honed one specific, unique skill to absolute perfection. I mean, you gotta hear this. We're talking about a fish, the giant trevally, that hunts birds. Not just birds, but birds in mid-flight. To pull this off, it has to basically do physics in its head. It's calculating airspeed, altitude, trajectory, and then it launches itself out of the water to snatch its prey from the air. The level of specialized skill there is just, it's mind-blowing. So let's circle back to our polar bear for a second, because from this perspective, he's the lone specialist, and he is relentless. He's testing that walrus wall again and again and again, just looking for one tiny crack in the armor. It really shows you the other side of the solo act. It takes sheer, desperate persistence, especially when your first real meal in months is on the line. All right, now let's go to a battle on a completely different scale. I mean, we're talking tiny. A little praying mantis, a perfect hunter in its own right, is face-to-face with a hungry jumping spider. And here's the kicker. The spider's eyesight is even better than the mantis's. It really seems like there's no way out of this one. But the mantis has a surprise ace up its sleeve. A little bit of what you might call kung fu praying mantis style. Of course, it's all a bluff. This isn't about actually fighting. It's about suddenly looking bigger, way more confusing, and a lot more threatening than you really are. And you know what? It works. The spider is thrown off just for a second, long enough for the mantis to make a run for it. Just a brilliant, brilliant use of deception. So up to now, we've mostly been looking at predators versus prey, right? But some of the most intense, most brutal fights in nature happen within the same species. And this isn't just about getting a meal. This is about something much more fundamental, the right to pass on your genes. Welcome to the bison rut. You got the dominant bull guarding his harem, and a young challenger decides to step up. They are just colossally evenly matched, a head-to-head struggle of pure power. But then the challenger makes one tiny mistake, gets pushed aside for just a moment, and his challenge is over. Just like that, brutally ended. The stakes here are absolutely everything. And you see this exact same dynamic play out at a precious oasis. Here, male Nubian ibex are fighting for control. I mean, their skulls are specially reinforced just to take this kind of a battering. But watch what happens when a third male jumps into the fight. It's just absolute chaos. All of a sudden, nobody seems to know who they're supposed to be fighting, and the whole structured duel just completely breaks down. Okay, for our final section, we're heading to the Antarctic. This is a place that brings together every single theme we've talked about so far. You've got group strategy, you've got specialized predators, and it's all driven by that ultimate goal of securing the next generation. This really is life on the absolute edge. And the first challenge is just finding your family. I mean, how does a parent penguin find its one single chick in a loud, chaotic colony of 60,000 other penguins? It's just an incredible feat of recognition. They rely solely on the unique calls that they share with each other. It's the only way. And now it's time for the final gauntlet. The penguins have to get to the sea to eat, but a leopard seal is lying in wait, using the edge of the ice for cover. You can just feel the tension building as the whole group hesitates. Then, finally, the first wave makes a break for it. The seal attacks through the chaos of bubbles, and for one penguin, that gamble doesn't pay off. It is a chillingly effective trap. Which kind of brings us to our final big question. We've seen all these brilliant strategies, right? Teamwork, specialization, deception, sheer brute force. But we've also seen how a single mistake, a split second of hesitation, or just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, that can be the difference between life and death. So in the brutal calculus of nature, what matters more? Is it strategy, or is it just plain luck? If you want to see more breakdowns of nature's incredible strategies, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next deep dive.